Hello everyone, my name is PYZAK. I am very happy to be with you for this webinar regarding 3DEXPERIENCE CATIA Connected Engineering. The main idea here is to introduce to some of you, maybe disclose some nice secrets of 3DEXPERIENCE CATIA for some of you too, regarding mainly the user interface of CATIA 3DEXPERIENCE or 3DEXPERIENCE CATIA. To design much more efficiently, and you will see it's much more easy than some other CAD modeler. And this is an episode, the episode 1. We will make more episodes in the future, mainly focus on assembly modeling or some other nice capability of 3DEXPERIENCE CATIA. And I hope you will enjoy that. So it lasts around 30 minutes, not more. Let's start. So the idea is to show you how, if you were a 3DEXPERIENCE CATIA user, you have to work. What are the steps to design this particular assembly? It's a braking system, braking caliper system. And at the end, how you can take into account some data that you receive from your supplier or maybe your customer, which are not maybe perfect, and how to clean and to take into account some design changes. Okay, so it's a little bit of part design for those who are familiar with CATIA, and a little bit of generative shape design for those, again, who are familiar with CATIA. Let's start by designing this assembly. So very first thing, I am in CATIA assembly design. So you can check here the workbench, the app I am using, and you can see that in 3DEXPERIENCE CATIA, I can use very, very advanced rendering display, still with a very, very good response time, because this helps you to understand better your design context, okay? And you can see that I will use, for this particular presentation, almost not at all the spec tree that maybe you are familiar with, what we call the specification tree, where the history of the design is shown. I will not use icons which are spread out all over my screen, because the idea is to keep most of the display for the 3D, not for commands. But I use something which is called the action pad, where you can gather all the commands that you are mainly using during a design. It can be command from part design, which is a solid modeling from CATIA, or command from generative shape design, which is a surface modeling from CATIA, or maybe other apps. And you can gather them in an action pad. They are default action pad, by the way. And you can either dock them, like what is done here. I docked them on the right side, upper right side of my screen, or those action pads can be popped up just where my mouse is located, just by hitting the B key on the keyboard. It's not what I will use. I will use the docking capability of CATIA. Let's start. So this is my motorbike, and I want to work on this particular braking system, the brake caliper. Okay. First thing, I will select visually my context. I will define my working context, and you will see very also nice capability of 3DEXPERIENCE CATIA, which is a display of what I don't need in a ghost way. Okay, so what you see in dimmed or transparent white is in fact in a ghost mode. But at least I know where am I in my assembly, my full assembly. And I can, for example, add a new view in my working environment. The view, for example, of this context can be shift to another screen. You know, most of CAD users today are mainly use two screens. If you are using 3DEXPERIENCE CATIA, you use the two screens, either to display, for example, the assembly and your part, or some menus, because you can also dispatch some menus in other screens. So it's very, very flexible. So let's see what it does. So here I display, for example, my starting point. I start by defining a skeleton, which is a very traditional way of working with CATIA. And of course, I can see the skeleton at the part level, here on the left side of the screen, or at the assembly and context level on the right part of the screen. And there will be a permanent dual display of what I am designing. So let's start the design. Maybe you did not see that, but I click on a plane and automatically CATIA prompts me, what do you want to do with the plane? Probably you want to do a sketch. And I say yes. So I don't have to go and click on the sketch icon, which might be somewhere, maybe in my action pad or maybe not. You see here, sketch. Now I'm defining my sketch, and all my commands of the sketcher are also popping up in front of me, close to my mouse location and my click, and proposing to me some commands depending on what I clicked. This is what we call the contextual immersive commands. Very nice capability. So I start my sketch. As you see, so here I can also use the menus or the commands which are in the action bar, here on the lower level of the screen. This is typical design of my sketch. I define some constraints, some offsets. I define some fillets. I will also mirror this half sketch because I would like to have the complete sketch. And you see, I do not click. My mouse mileage is very limited. Okay. Here we go. I sketch. I do the mirror of this area, and now I leave the sketch. Okay. Of course, you can see that on the right side, you see exactly what I did at the sketch level. Now I click on the sketch was selected. So CATIA proposed to me, you have selected a sketch, maybe you want to make a pad, which makes sense. Yes, I want to make a pad. And then I just need to select the direction of the extrusion and the value, the thickness of the pad. And I directly type in the command, and CATIA create a feature pad in the spec tree. Okay? You could have done exactly the same with a traditional, let's say, CATIA V5 way, where you click on command, the command pad, you have a dialog box popping up, you enter values, and then the feature pad is aggregated in the spec tree. But here it's much faster. Here you see here the pad dialog box that you can use if you want to advance more details in your pad feature. Here we go. I click on this plane. I accept the sketch. Here I just project an edge of this newly created pad into the plane. And I just add some constraints on my sketch to fix it, to dimension it. And I will create, as I did earlier, another pad. This is the value of my fillet. Here's the sketch. As the sketch is aggregated or was constructed on a face of a solid, now I have two options. Do you want to create a pad or do you want to create a pocket? I create a pad. I select the direction and the thickness very easily. No dialog box, just everything is done directly on the graphics in 3D. I continue the design of my sketch and my solid. I am here in the sketcher of part design. I create some offsets. You see, it's very simple, very straightforward. At any time, if you need more advanced capability, you can use the advanced capability of your action pad. You can also hide the action pad. Here, I just create a pad to remove some material inside this block. And you see here on the screen why I did that, because I wanted to take some into account the brake disc itself. Makes sense. It's why the context is very important. You never design a part alone. Okay, it's always inside a context within a given assembly. Here, by just clicking on a face and this line, I can create a hole because the input were the direction of the hole and the starting face. I just select regular holes. Here we go. Very nice capability also of 3DEXPERIENCE CATIA is that I can change at any time what we call ambience. You will see what I mean. An ambience can be, for example, a dark blue background. Traditional way of working with some CAD tools. But I can have a more fancy way. Maybe my part is designed inside a given context. You can define your own, let's say, context. And I can come back to the basic, which is white in this particular case. Now that I'm okay with that, I will just erase my context view and just work with the, let's say, design view. Here I can at any time undock some commands and dock them where I want on the screen. It's very simple. So you see here the refine command with the chamfer fillets. I can add as many commands